but I'm at my apartment and my phone rings. It's one of my coaches. He was like, man, where you at? I was like, well, I'm at the apartment. What's going on? He's like, I got 30 NFL scouts over here asking about you.
Oh my God, dude.
When I played basketball, I was a 6'7" power forward that was not prototypical, didn't really have a position. Football, I was a 6'7" defensive end, 268 pounds, prototypical. Every scout was like, you are the prototypical defensive end. Like, this guy comes on the phone so excited. Hey, Corey, how you doing? I'm a representative of the Cleveland Browns. We want you to be a part of the team. We got your agent on the other line. He's working out the deals to your contract right now. Like, literally,
As you're sitting there, watch the draft end.
just like that. Well, here's what's really interesting. This is the part of the story that I really love. So I go to, but I'm still pursuing it, right? So I go to LA. We play in the summer league. I do well. Talk to NBA scouts, and they tell me exactly what I just told you. You know, we
Yeah.
don't really have a position. You're a great athlete, but we can't see you fitting on our teams, right? And so I got offers to go to Europe to play. Now, this is going to tap into like how I think right now today, like my mentality right now today. I could not go to Europe. And people are like, man, they're gonna pay you well. You should go like
Yeah.
play at the highest level.
Mhm.
That's it. Like if I can't play at the highest level, I don't want to play. I don't
Really?
want
Like, so you didn't even view the chances like going to Europe and then going to the NBA as an option. You wanted to go. It was like oh or nothing, one or zero, nothing else.
I did not want to go. I want to play at the highest level. I do not believe that this is the path. I'm not doing it. Right.
Mhm.
So people are like, you're crazy. Right. And so I'm like, well, I still have to finish school, so I'm just gonna go back to school, right? And me going back to school was really not about finishing school. It was just about me figuring out how to get to the NBA. I'm like, I gotta figure out how to get there,
Yeah.
right? And so here's where the story really gets interesting because I get back on campus. Somehow the football coaches heard that I was back on campus. So one of the football coaches found me and said, hey man, I'm sorry you didn't make it into the NBA, but I think you've been playing the wrong sport.
That's so funny though, because like yes, the entire time, all the risks you made were for the wrong sport. It was that's really really cool. The fact that you were able to make it that far too, and they
And
really see the potential. That's so interesting.
And that's why I said your gift is going to take you to the next thing. It doesn't matter. Like you're gonna always life is gonna always help you autocorrect, right? Like you go. It doesn't matter. You're like, I'm gonna start this business. Great, start the business. Whatever happens with that business, it's gonna take you to where you're supposed to be, right?
Yeah.
Like it's just gonna happen that if you're really doing it, right? And so it autocorrect me, and it was like, no, football, right?
Yeah.
So the guy says, man, you should come out, play football, And so I was like, okay, I'll do it.
Yeah.
I go out, play that semester. Didn't even do anything crazy. Didn't even have like no crazy stats. And then like, only played 12 plays. Only played 12 plays in college football, right? Not games, plays, right?
Yeah.
So at the end of it, I'm thinking like, okay, that was a cool experiment, but now let me get back to
Yeah.
basketball, right? So I'm at my apartment one day, and you know how they have the pro day for the football players. So they have
Yeah.
the combine, and then they have the pro day at the schools.
Mhm.
And so I'm not really planning to go to the pro day, but I'm at my apartment, and my phone rings. It's one of my coaches. He was like, "Man, where you at?" I was like, "Well, I'm at the apartment. What's going on?" He's like, "I got 30 NFL scouts over here asking about you."
Oh my God, dude.
I was like,
The
"What?"
odds of that happen. That's crazy. That
The
is
guy
crazy.
said, and here's I'm gonna show you how life really, really works and how it autocorrects us and put us where we're supposed to be. He says, you need to get up here right now, right?
Mhm.
I walk into this room, they're in the weight room. So I walk in, all these scouts are in there. As soon as I walk in, they know who I am. They're like, Corey, how you doing? Like they're touching me and everything. They're like, man, you look good, like just, and I'm like, like what's going on?
It's surreal in a way. Like, damn, I went from no one wanted me to play professional to having 30 people that wanted my freaking autograph and stuff.
100%, right? And so I go and I do this workout, kill the workout. In my mind, I'm thinking I'm killing the workout, right? Like, oh man, I'm doing all these drills, but I really don't know. But at the end of the workout, if you feel like you did well, you kind of looking at the scouts to kind of see their reaction.
Mhm.
And they like just literally just walked away. Like they didn't even say anything. So I was like,
Really?
oh, man, like I must have like
Must
really
have messed
bombed
up.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I'm walking out the field, all drenched in sweat and everything, and just like my mind is just kind of like, man, it's confused.
Mhm.
And my phone ring. I answer my phone. It's an agent. This guy said, "Hey Corey, how you doing? I'm an NFL agent. I want to represent you. I heard you killed your workout today." Like literally, I'm literally walking off the field. I'm like, yo, this is crazy. So I hang up with this guy. Phone rings again. Another agent. Now my phone is just blowing up, and it's
Oh my
just
God.
unbelievable.
That's
It's just, I
crazy.
mean, literally unbelievable, right? So you remember I told you that life autocorrects.
Mhm.
So contrast. When I played basketball, I was a 6'7" power forward that was not prototypical, didn't really have a position. Football, I was a 6'7" defensive end, 268 pounds, prototypical. Every scout was like, you are the prototypical defensive end. Like I went from not having a place in the sport to being a prototypical like size,
Like
speed,
a top-notch prospect.
everything, right? Just like that.
Mhm.
And so my agent tells me like, hey, you kind of came on late, so you may get drafted in the later rounds. Fifth round, Miami is looking at you. Sixth round, and then maybe even seventh round. Like, but those last rounds are going to be the rounds that somebody's going to take you in, right? So now I'm like, I don't care what round. This is unbelievable, right? And so I'm watching the draft. Fifth round goes by, nobody calls my name. Sixth round goes by, nobody calls my name. And so the team that was going to draft me, it was the team that was going to draft me in the seventh round. Traded away they pick. So now I don't get drafted in the seventh round. So I'm
Yeah.
like, so now I'm just sitting there like literally like, and this is how fast it happens, right? The draft ends. I'm sitting there, and in my mind, I'm thinking, man, this just sucks. This is crazy.
Life is so
But
unfair. Yeah.
as I'm thinking it, like in real time, as I'm thinking this, my phone starts ringing.
Mhm.
Like, who is this? Answer the phone. This guy comes on the phone, so excited. Hey, Corey, how you doing? I'm a representative of the Cleveland Browns. We want you to be a part of the team. We got your agent on the other line. He's working out the deals to your contract right now. Like literally,
As you're sitting there watching the draft end,
just like that.
what was
Just
that
like that.
feeling like, man? Like, did you feel like such a sense of relief? Like, man, all my hard work, that bus ticket, all the chances that I made, like, it's all worth something now. Like, it was all worth it.
It was kind of like the opposite reaction, more of how I almost missed it.
Oh, so
Like like my mind went to like how I gave up on my dream, how I was at Walmart, how I almost really like really went down a path, a dark path of
Mhm.
life. Like how close I came. Like that's why like I have empathy for so many people that get on the wrong path, because something can push you in a direction and you can just go down and spiral down.
Yeah.
And I was just thinking about that, like, man, you almost missed all of this, right? And then I became so grateful that I was able to break free of that, and it was just one of the most amazing experiences I ever had in my life. My parents at the time, they didn't really know that I was even a prospect, serious prospect, because I didn't want to get their hopes up. And
Yeah.
so once I got that phone call, I called them. They went bananas.
Yeah, I could only
Like
imagine your parents. Like, I
it
feel like
was,
if my kid told me that he got drafted for the NFL, I'd lose it. Especially if he
uh,
just went out of the house like a year ago.
it was crazy. It was crazy. And my mom, she couldn't even speak. I got four other siblings, so they were all just losing it. And it was one of those moments where, you just get so emotional, and like I said, because how tough it was, how hard it was. Like I had to fight for every inch.
Yeah.
And I learned something about life along the way. Life is going to autocorrect you if you keep going as hard as you can. Like a lot of people give up before they get to that autocorrection where life says, yeah, but this is where you really need to be, right? And then you see it because it becomes so clear. You're like, oh
Yeah.
my God, how did I miss this? Like, this is where I'm supposed to
That's
be.
really interesting
Um,
because it goes back to the idea of like people quit before the success actually comes, or they quit way too early. Like they won't get immediate results and then they'll quit. I think for you, like the fact that like I have a question actually. What after you stopped, didn't get drafted for the NBA, let's say that the football coach didn't come up to you. What would have been your plan after that? Like, would you have just given up on sports altogether and go down a different path, like a business route? Like, what would have been your route?
My plan would have been to train as hard as possible and get back into like going to the NBA and working out with these scouts. That'd have been my plan, right? My plan would just like, just work on your game like crazy, get back out there, get in front of the scouts again, and and that's not a bad plan. I tell people whatever your plan is, it's not a bad plan.
As long as
Just
you're
know
doing something, yeah.
just know that if you're doing something with like all that you have and you're doing it with everything in you, something good is going to happen. It may not be the thing that you thought it was going to be,
Yeah.
but something good is going to happen. And that's the thing that we have to keep in mind. Like, we don't have the, we can't see. We can't see, right? Like, all we
Yeah.
know is what we know. And
Yeah.
so we just have to go as hard as possible for the thing that we want. And life is going to open up the path for us as long as we're doing that. And that's what happened with me with football. Like, I had no idea I would play in the NFL. I had no idea. And when once that lane opened up for me, it was just so clear. It was just like, wow. Like, everything became not necessarily easy, but easier. It was
It's
like,
easier to
oh,
see as well because like you could, I think for the NBA, like the vision seemed thought possible, but it seemed way harder compared to the NFL.